Good morning, it's Vaughan at westcoastbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada, and we have a great kiln unloading for you. And this is Vaughan and this is Jackie. So let's get going on this because it's very exciting. It looks terrific, but now we'll take a closer look. So that's what the kiln, I'm going to tilt you up a little bit so you can see the pieces a little bit better when we lift them out. Okay, there you go. So let's let Jackie unload her pieces.
Okay, so I'll get started here. With this firing, some of the pieces were on B-mix and some were on 516. But they were done by spotting in underglazes before the first firing, and then another layer before the glaze firing. So color was applied in two phases with most of these.
Let's see it the right way up. It's upside down at the moment.
Oh, it's upside down. Okay, here we go. So this is a piece that I put into a kind of a shell-shaped mold, slump mold. Okay. I'll just hold this really close, little tiny cup. The reason I do the coloring in two phases is that I get the top surface, the high bits, on the first round, and then the piece is fired. So I'm able to then rub color deeply into the different grooves without upsetting the first color. And then at that point it's clear glazed and fired again. Get that, make sure that's on camera. This is another owl mug. And these are all hand built. Usually I do these on the B-mix clay, but it looks like the 516 worked all right. And this one was kind of done with a combination of blues. And then the dark blue was the color that I rubbed in before putting the clear glaze on. One more cup here. And this one is done by drawing into the clay when it's had a chance to stiffen up and then applying the first layer of color. And this vase is completely done by using the different stamps that I make and creating patterns. And then this one was bisqued without any color. And then after the bisque, I did a layer rubbing in of a sort of greeny black blue. And the last is a little tray.
And then these are the mugs, are just the crow mugs that I do, which I was running out of. So we can go over these quickly because these are just stenciled and then a little bit of sgraffito going through there. The black is, give you a closer look at that one. So it's basically stenciled. White slip is then applied 3 times over the top of the black, and then I take the stencils off and carve the crows. The crow ball, identical. And then I've got some chattering from artisanpotterytools.com, chattering tools.
Right, so this level of the kiln has all trays in it. So I'll just take them out and show them. So this is all done with texturing, underglaze, clear glaze on top. Basically, I like to just have fun with these and experiment with color and texture, see what happens. Tiny, tiny little tray. It's just kind of a nice way to use up small scraps instead of recycling them. There's two more. There we go. Go. Be careful around these stilts, they're very sharp. I have quite a collection of stamps at this point on, different themes, leaf shapes, fish shapes. Some of them are just textures that look like they're water or sand. They give me a lot of possibilities. And last but not least, I did a big one with fish. So there we go. And this was, I made kind of a slump mold with propping it. I kind of made a hammock with a canvas and some cardboard tubes and made a slump mold. Okay, more cups down here. Ooh, this is a very soft one. Greens and yellows. Lots of texture in this one though. Lots of, in fact, these shell shapes here were sprigged on. They're not really stamped. They're shapes that are sprigged. And these flowers are made a combination of stamping and carving in before adding the color. So this shell form here is sprigged. I stamp a shell shape into a clay, cut it out, and attach it. So it really stands out. This one, instead of rubbing color for a second on the second run of color, I left it white line. So it has a much more delicate feeling to the line work because it's light. It's another sort of landscape piece. So I basically have two or three sizes that I'm doing here because I have tubes that are perfect You can kind of get your hand around them. Either a large cup or a kind of a medium small. This one turned out nice. It's got the faces really turn out because of the black into the grooves and the low areas. I've also been putting color on the interior of some. Some I leave white, some I brush an underglaze color in there before the glaze firing. And this is another landscape. This one has a white interior. That's the color of the clay. And another owl. This one has some interesting colors in it because I used reds like in there to go into the grooves. And some more pastel type colors for the birds, the owls. And that's it for the cups.
So now we just have a bunch more of the crow pieces. So you just saw those. I won't go into these in any detail. We'll get to the next layer.
Okay, so this is the very bottom shelf, is it? And I got one more down here. Okay. It's another of the double owls in reds and greens. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the colors of this firing. The clear glaze is nice and transparent. This one had a white interior.
And literally the rest of this kiln is all crow bugs. So we won't go into these with any detail because they're my basic crow mug with stencil and sgraffito. you.